Hey there, glad to see you all came here tonight to listen to all these wonderful TED Talks. I'm so happy to be here and to talk about the importance of communication in our everyday lives. More specifically, how the way we communicate needs to change and how to do so. Okay, so to start off, wait, this doesn't feel right. I'm not feeling the connection. Let's try this again, face to face.
This is much better. In my own generation and the society I live in today, communication is all through, you can guess, our phones. Communication. It's in the air we breathe in each and every day. But when you think of communication, do you think of a quick text to a friend? A question you're asking or being asked? Talking about how amazing or dreadful your day was? Or being in a meaningful moment with someone that involves just a few words? Well, communication can be all of these things and more. There is no one true situation that can define communication. But IMO, the way we talk, in my opinion, the way we talk today is behind a mask. See, the thing is, when we send a certain text, the message can get lost in translation. And no, I'm not talking about Google translating from one language to another. I'm simply talking about how one message can be perceived in so many different ways that the original message loses its true meaning. When we send a certain text or comment on a post, we have that freedom and security that we can say anything to anyone without saying it in their face. We have that freedom to say just about anything that we want, which could lead us to so many unwanted complications. But if we just had that human interaction, things could be so different. When we have significant or meaningful conversations over our phones, we are denied that ability to see a person's first facial reactions, actions, first impressions, thoughts, and the overall vibe of how they feel in that moment. Now that we can send a quick text to anybody around the world, having meaningful conversations seems normal and just a part of how we live every day. But it's not okay. It's not even close to okay. Kids today need to learn, no. They need to be taught when it's appropriate to communicate over our phones and when it's not. Cell phones have messed up the way that we talk with the ones around us. Sometimes we don't realize how necessary it is to just take in that moment to talk with people right then and there. We miss and avoid conversations that can be expressed in person or face to face. But if my own generation and the society I live in today doesn't know how to self-develop this skill set, society as a whole will suffer. We need to know and understand why we must say hello to somebody when we first meet them, or ask somebody about their day when they first ask us. So now with this, the real question is, why isn't communication skills a part of the actual curriculum? Why isn't teaching communication skills as important as solving for X in algebra? Now, we do have some teachers who unofficially teach us these lessons in what's known as the hidden curriculum. The hidden curriculum are a set of lessons and values that are not a part of the official stuff that we have to learn. An example of this is pushing in your chair after you leave a classroom. It's not something that you need to know for sure or that you're tested on, but it's plain, polite, and efficient. As a student, I propose that communication skills should be a part of the actual curriculum. Just stop and think for a second that our next generation might not even know how to hold more than a 5-minute conversation with somebody else in person. How insane and devastating is that? It's something that we can fix now. Take my own mom, for example. My very own beautiful mom. My mom's been a teacher for about 22 years now, and for 15 of those years, she's been a kindergarten teacher. Growing up and hearing my mom and her colleagues talk about the evolving educational system has helped shape my perspective. I believe that in order to ensure that our next generation becomes successful communicators in a global society, we must further advocate for communication skills to be a part of the actual curriculum. But I'm not talking about getting a class like this in high school or even middle school. I'm talking about getting a class like this as early as kindergarten. Hey, let's take a quick recap and see how communication has evolved through technology. In colonial times, we didn't have a thing as an iPhone or an iMacBook or even a flip phone. But now that we can send a simple text to anybody around the world, communication is so much simpler. Now we can literally FaceTime someone from the Great Wall of China. the Great Wall of China. It just goes to show how we would do just about anything to communicate with the ones around us. As Tony Gaskins once said, communication to a relationship is like oxygen to life. Without it, it dies. We breathe each and every day. It's a part of us. Sometimes we forget we're even doing so. Same thing with communication skills. We have them, but sometimes we forget to use them. But without communication skills, no matter what the relationship is, eventually it'll fade out. It's what keeps us connected. And I know this based on being a peer, a student, a best friend, a sister, a daughter, and just a human being in general. All of us are individuals. Not one brain is the same. We are all unique. We have different thoughts and perspectives that must be shared. But it's important that we share who we are as a person and what we believe in without hiding behind our devices. Sometimes I wish I was born in a different decade. Ever wonder why time period dramas on TV shows and in the movies are so popular? Well, this is because we didn't have cell phones back then. This helps producers create more dialogue between characters in order to keep a more interesting storyline going. It was an in-the-moment type of time period where we couldn't ignore somebody's text for hours and hours. But one thing to take from all this is you cannot speak emojis. Just because you send a bunch of emojis and abbreviations doesn't mean that it can replace that of an actual human expression. My own generation doesn't even know how to use whole words anymore. LOL, BRB, YOLO, NP, IMO, in my opinion. I wonder how many people have the same idea as me. To go back to a simpler time, a time of more face-to-face interactions. But as a society, if we are not moving forward, we are moving backwards. So let's evolve. Let's compete on a global scale. Let's talk. Thank you.